The Road to Paradise Gold Coast training series is brought to you by the Running Centre. Whether it's the latest shoes, nutrition gear, or their personalised biofit process to help pick the right shoe for you, the experts at TRC are the ones to trust to help you achieve your running goals. Use code WALT15 for 15% off your purchase via the TRC online store, excluding electronics and nutrition. The Running Centre. Let's move together.
This episode is brought to you by Bix Nutrition and Hydration and the newly established Reach PB Sports. Bix products deliver the perfect balance of carbohydrates, electrolytes, and micronutrients with a light, clean, natural taste ideal for endurance training, racing, and recovery. Reach products give you what it takes to push beyond your reach over and over again, setting new benchmarks, breaking them over and over again, redefining and reinventing your limits with the essential nutrition you need to reach higher. Use code WARP for 20% off your next order of Bix and Reach products. Hi everyone, and welcome to Road to Paradise. This WA Running Podcast training series will follow 4 athletes as they work toward their goals at the 2025 ASICS Gold Coast Marathon. Widely regarded the fastest marathon in Australia, the Gold Coast Marathon is one of 2 races in the country to hold the World Athletics Road Race label status. First established in 1979, the course was initially a 6-lap loop. However, over the past years has moved to a flatter, faster and more scenic run up and down the coast along some of Queensland's most iconic beaches. The men's course record of 2:07:40 was achieved by Naoki Kayoma in 2023. Last year's marathons were won by Timothy Korea and Yuki Nakamura, who broke the women's course record, taking the title from Lindsay Flanagan in 2022. In 2024, we also saw standout performances from Australians Andy Buchanan and Leanne Pompiani ahead of their incredible performances at what would follow for both of them, with Andy breaking the Australian marathon record in Valencia and Leanne breaking the Australian women's marathon debut record in Nagoya earlier this year. But enough about all the pros. Joining me, we have 4 athletes training very hard over the next few months and chasing their dreams in hopes of some personal records and fantastic achievements. Without further ado, let's get into it. My first guest this evening is, my weekly podcast host, here to break the 3-hour barrier and hopefully put a few demons to bed. Simon Pham, how are you?
I'm very good, mate. Big fan of the podcast. Happy to be here. Yeah, well, I've been taking a back seat of the Bunbury series and mocking David Perich as he trained for sub-3, but I guess the pressure's on me now. So we'll see how we go in 60 days' time.
Yeah, some big shoes to fill, I guess. Rosie Spurling, a high school representative for WA in the 400 hurdles, I believe. And as you've called yourself, the neighbourhood pram lady. How are you?
I'm good. Good to meet you and good to have a chat with everyone.
Great. And of course, we've got WAMC Club Marathon champion for the past 3 years, potentially the fastest easy runs of anyone in Perth, Lauren French. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Very, very glad to have you. And finally, the self-confessed head chef of the Let's Cook running team and back for his second Gold Coast Marathon running. How's it going, boss? Karlos Aquino.
Yes, boss. Thank you so much. I'm really excited for this episode. And let's get it.
Fantastic. Joining us from a car park in West Perth, no less. So, great to have you here. As we said before the record, Simon sent through a pretty lengthy questionnaire earlier in the week in an effort to kind of shape the questions that we would direct at you. And to our surprise, I think you all put an incredible amount of effort into that, and it probably has given us some idea about the kinds of things that make you guys tick. But perhaps we'll start with the basics. We'll start with you, Simon. I know we've probably been through this on the weekly podcast, but we would start with you. When did this running thing start for you? And I guess what would you say your greatest performance has been over the road, track or trail?
Not many achievements in the trail. I'm allergic to hills, but I think my earliest memory of running, stems back high school days. I've got strict Asian parents, so I was never involved in little athletics or anything like that. But there was always high school athletics carnivals, and I was never fast, so I would always put my hand up for the 400s, 800s, and the 1500s. I was never the fastest guy in those distances, but I found a cheat code, which was if you came third in any of those distances, you get to go to the interstate school carnival and not have to run and get a day off school. So for years 10, 11, 12, I was able to make the athletics team and get a day off school, which was amazing. It was an interesting year 12 because I think the other guys caught on, and it became a very tactical race in terms of who was the third fastest guy. But I managed to still come third and got a day off school and not have to run, which was great. I was a casual runner. So I did all the HBF, city to surfs with little to no training, 5Ks here and there, full send each time. Take a week off to recover because I'd be sore from that run, and repeat. So there was probably many years of that, but I got to a stage, I think over that period of time, I managed to sort of go up to the half marathon and be able to sort of hit sub 2 hours. And at the time, I thought I was really fast at the time. And I think, COVID happened and I stopped running all of a sudden. And then after my daughter was born, took up running again and I guess viewed running in a very different light. So running for me then was very much mental health. And a lot of things happened in my life at the time, family and friendships and relationships. So running was a bit of a savior for me at that point in time. And I would say in the last 2 years, things have become more serious with running. And that's where I met you. Got faster, bit of structures to the program now. And I'm at a point in my running where, I'm hoping to hit sub 3 in my second attempt this year.
Nice. And has there been a standout, in your running to date, has there been a standout race that kind of has given you the drive to continue kind of going for the marathon, or it might be a half marathon, anything?
I'd say the John Gilmore 10,000 meters last year was probably my favorite sort of race I've done in recent times. And I think that was just like the perfect race for me. Sort of having yourself and Matt Smurelli pace me for, 20 laps or so and being able to hold on for the 25 laps. And it was, just perfect. So although it was hard, it ended up being very comfortable and smashed my 10K PB. So I'd say that's probably my favorite race and my favorite best achievement to date. I'd say all of the recent marathons have also been achievements as well, because I've been able to shave 20 minutes each time I've attempted the marathon. And although I haven't conquered the 30K cramps, I think I've seen huge progress over the years in the marathon distance.
Yeah, nice. So I guess later in the episode, you might tell us that you're going for a 2:46 marathon then? Is that the goal?
I guess that is. If trends continue, it might have to be a 2:45.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, Rosie, how about you give us a bit of a rundown as to where running started for you and how what keeps you running?
Yeah, definitely some similarities to Simon's story. Again, kind of did track and field and cross country at school, and probably like most people left kind of serious sport in later high school. I kind of then found a bit of a passion for 400-meter hurdles. So that in reflection, that's just one lap around the tracks, which seems pretty pathetic to now focusing on a marathon. But that was my focus, I guess, during uni years, and went to nationals and did lots of state champs and things, which was fun. And then went to the UK and lived there for 10 years and just dabbled with marathons in between drinking sessions and living the life of zero responsibility. So I did London Marathon a couple of times, which was great fun. didn't really do it with much structure, but did join like a training club over there, but just kind of followed everyone around the track and things. So did a couple of them, did the New York Marathon, and then came back to Perth. And kind of followed my two older sisters into the world of triathlon, which is a bit of it's a slippery slope once you're in, you can't get out. So I was in there for quite a few years, did all the distances, but really got the triathlon bug, and I really enjoyed the challenges and the time zapping nature of the sport. Then I guess COVID becomes a bit of a pause in everyone's lives, and actually quickly after COVID was pregnant with my now almost 4-year-old daughter, and then realised that, getting back into triathlons just wasn't an option. I'd done them at a very high level in WA and just wanted to be competitive in what I did and give it 100%. So then realised that, hang on, let's just go back to one sport, which just might seem a bit easier and a bit more straightforward. So as you said in the intro, I became a bit of a plotter of the streets around where I live in a yellow pram. I'm often recognised as, oh, are you the lady with the yellow pram? Which I don't know is a good thing or a bad thing, but my daughter, whether she likes it or not, comes along with me. I think getting back into running a bit more seriously probably the last couple of years and getting into a training program and things has kind of been a bit of a postpartum outlet, allowed me to kind of find my feet and do something again other than just being mum. Have enjoyed it, but feel like I'm still on a very steep learning curve. I guess my probably highlight in the short kind of running career, and I definitely use that in inverted commas, was probably Perth Running Festival last year. I did a 15-minute PB, so not Simon's 20 minutes, but would happy take a 20-minute PB at Gold Coast. So happy to follow that trend if that's what we're talking about. So that was 3:14, and that was after a pretty tricky couple of weeks in our family. We'd had a sudden passing of a family member, so there was lots of interstate travel and just a pretty turbulent week leading up. So that was, I guess, a bit of a reflection that maybe this old dog has got a bit more life left in her legs, and kind of created a bit of a fire in my belly. And that's where I said to my coach Ben Green at Front Runner, what's another marathon I can do, and decided let's go to Gold Coast and give that a go.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, what's been kind of keeping you going over the past, 10 months or so, or 9 months since Perth Running Festival? Has there been something that's kind of you've been working toward in the interim?
We've done lots of little races. So I did like Darlington Half, Point Walter, 16K. So just little events, but got a few A races planned in the lead up to Gold Coast, which I do love to race. So nice to just break up each month with a race. Also did Bridges, which was nice just to kind of break up the monotony of long runs every week. So I've enjoyed that, and often finish off a long run on a Saturday with a park run with my husband and pushing the infamous yellow pram. So that's also a nice way just to finish off a long run.
Yeah, beauty. Loz, how about you? I mean, we were talking earlier about the Perth Marathon. This is pre-record. Perth Marathon in 2005. When did this kind of running bug start for you? I mean, having done marathons for, I guess, the last 20 years.
I started off loving running at a young age, like all of us here, and I suppose I was more in the team sports. My sister played basketball, so I followed along, and I always liked the running though, but never did little athletics or anything like that. And then I got one of my high school teachers. He loved running, and he said, I think you'd be great at long distance running, because I couldn't sprint. So he encouraged me to do the 1500. I just loved that feeling of running that, like, for me back then, even though that was a long way. So then I started training for the cross country, and I then got hooked into the running just at school, really. But he also did triathlons. So then he said, why don't you do the school state triathlon race? And I did that. I borrowed my dad's bike. And and like Rosie said, with the triathlon, it just hooks you, like gets you in. And I just found the love for that. And I kept at that for a while. But then actually Bustleton Ironman was its first year ever in 2004. and I was like 19 years old, and I just said, well, I can do it. I'm old enough. My parents weren't keen, but when I put my mind to it, I wasn't going to stop at that. So I kind of made me even more keen to do it. And yeah, and then I got a spot there for Hawaii. So then I was in, and my dad came with me to Hawaii when I was 21, and there wasn't many 21-year-old girls racing, so I did well. I was probably not many, so I got the fifth spot there, and yeah, I just wanted to be this triathlete. So it took over my life a bit too much sometimes, but I always loved the running. So then I kept my running going, but it did cause me some injuries, I think, with the triathlon and the running. But yeah, in 2005, I got the chance to do the Perth Marathon as part of running for the Hawaii, or training for the Hawaii Ironman. And yeah, I was really lucky to have a good race there. And that actually was my fastest marathon for a very long time. So I couldn't break, I think I ran 2:52 there, or 53, and that's without the
Wow.
super shoes. So I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so then I did suffer though after that. I think my body, I do look back and think that was probably a bit hard on my body at that age. So I've learned a lot over the years. But yeah, and then I just kept doing triathlons all through my 20s. And I travelled the world, Switzerland. I was working at a sports shop, just living at home. So it was lovely. It was nice, and I am grateful for those years. But yeah, then I kind of thought I had to just settle down and get organised with my life. So I yeah, did the teaching, became a sports teacher, and had the boys. Got married, had two boys, and then I always knew running was my real passion. So I just thought, a bit like Rosie, with it, being a new mum, yeah, get the kids in the pram or the one, and just start running again. And it just made me feel so good. And yeah, I love that lifestyle. And yeah, and then my friend Tina was always my friend way back when we were racing, and when I was in my 20s, and I looked up to her um, for a very long time, and I still do. And I actually reached out to her when I was pregnant with my second boy, because the doctors were saying don't overdo it, but I knew that Tina would be like, "Oh, Loz, you'll be fine." I mean, within reason. So I got her backing. It
Yeah.
was like I was just, chasing someone to tell me it was all right to run with the baby, and it was. But people would look at me. I'd run past, people
Yeah.
pregnant, and yeah, I still ran through my second
Mm.
pregnancy. I was okay to do that, and yeah, and then after that, Tina started helping me out with the program, and I just said, "Let's go." When I've got the okay to go again, and I just yeah, went on from there really.
Yeah. Haven't looked back.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been lucky. It's consistent years, I think, that really helps you. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, already, I think, Simon, you're probably feeling a little underdone in terms of the history of your athletic ability with these two having done triathlons through their 20s. But
It wasn't all good.
yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Definitely.
and we'll move on to Karlos. Karlos, you're probably the least experienced of everyone here, yet somehow you're also the fastest. um, would you care to tell us about your background, mate? I think you're relatively new to running post COVID, but yeah, maybe you want to give the listeners some background.
I can say I'm a product of COVID-19, and yeah, COVID-19 changed me, made me a runner. So yeah, but before that, yeah, I wasn't really into sports. Yeah, I did a bit of soccer when I was in elementary, but just like it's just like a one off. And yeah, that's probably like the running part of my childhood. That's like probably the only time I was running, and it could be the one when I was doing basketball as a one off in high school. So there's not much running experience really in my childhood and my teenage years. And I did a bit of badminton. That's probably the one I I was good at, because of it's there's not much running involved on that one. It's just I was like a good technique and everything, and yeah, just practice.
Yeah.
And yeah, and around college, not no sports at all. I'm basically, yeah, just doing uni. No, maybe I did a bit of frisbee, so there's a bit of running in there in a physical education during college, but yeah, there's not much. and then moving on to being a 18-year-old, and then trying to attract girls. You want to go to the gym, and yeah, that's the start of being maybe going into the fitness era, and yeah,
Mm.
try to lift weights, get bigger. And yeah, it's just like when you're in university, when you're young, you wanna attract people.
Mm.
So that's my way to get into fitness. And then yeah, I pretty much kept that up until I was 25. So I was lifting a little bit, I was gymming, doing a bit of boxing here and there, but not too serious. I didn't fight anyone. Yeah, it's just like some drills or being in the bag. But
Mm.
yeah, I basically started running seriously in February 2022, and then yeah, it's I've been running for 3 years now. But yeah, before that, I was hiking, I was skating, weightlifting, doing calisthenics, and yeah, do a bit of cycling because I was cycling to work before. And yeah, and also in the past, I've tried to run in 2017 because I saw this movie, Creed. It's a boxing movie. It's a spin-off of Rocky movie.
Mm.
So yeah, it's Michael B. Jordan there. That's the guy. He's the lead guy there, and there's a montage there. He's really really good. Like if you've seen the movie, there's a running montage there that inspired me to go for a run afterwards when I saw it. And then yeah, it's just like my inspiration. And every time I'm gonna go for a race, actually, this is interesting. Yeah, I always listen to the theme song of that scene. So
Yeah.
every time I'm about to race, I'm gonna listen to that. That's like my gets me hyped. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's the secret sauce
Yeah,
to
that's the secret sauce, boss. Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, no, I was running for a bit before. No Strava. I'm just like there's like an app called Freeletics. That's where I do my recording. But yeah, no Strava at all. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day during the pandemic. That's what I've been doing. So yeah, when this COVID happened, it changed me so much.
Mm.
Yeah, promised myself to be fitter because yeah, it's the pandemic. There's nothing to do really during the pandemic, and then yeah, trying to do more fitness as a New Year's resolution. So yeah, I joined WAMC in 2022, and then I did my first 10K. Yeah, I was training for 3 months leading up to that, and yeah, got my Pegasus, got my Apple Watch, everything ready. Just yeah, watch a bunch of YouTube channels to get to start like how to train for a 10K. So yeah, somehow run a 41-minute 10K. Out of just like by doing 5K full send, 10K full send, no easy runs. So I'm actually like really surprised I didn't get injured during those time because I was just training with one shoes as well.
Carlos, you're going to have to send those YouTube videos around to us all.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't remember who I watched. It's just a bunch of random YouTube videos of how to run a 10K PB. That's pretty much what I wrote. And yeah, but interestingly, after that race in Frio, I got COVID. So yeah, I've lost so much fitness during that. 2 weeks bedridden, no running, just walking with my dogs. So, um, and I kind of like, wow, I can actually run fast. And then maybe now that I lost it, maybe I need to do something. Maybe just trying to like get back. And then somehow I thought, oh, maybe running a half marathon will get me back to fitness. So that's how dumb I am back in the day. Like it's just yeah, it's crazy how I think back in the day, but now yeah, I'm glad that I'm not thinking like that. It's just like no one would do that. But yeah, blew up. So like I did the half marathon. Yeah, blew up last 3K. Yeah, walked pretty much like every 3 minutes of that race, and then yeah, it's just I don't want to experience that again. Like after that race, that's when I respected running because oh,
Mm.
this can actually happen.
Mm.
So yeah, tried to get back to the drawing board. Trying to search more about. Oh, I've seen so many people using Vaporfly, Applefly. Oh, let me get that. Like, oh, this guy's like running real fast with those shoes, like really high cushion. And then
Yeah.
now I was like in the um I was brain rotting with like running content pretty much. And then yeah, that's how I got into like serious running, like
Mm.
actually structured running. And yeah, I'm deep into running by that point, because like yeah,
Yeah.
I thought like I'm good at it, and yeah, somehow like led me to become where I'm at now,
Yeah.
just by
Nice.
obsessing
Yeah.
with running, because I'm trying to get better.
Yeah. Has there
That's it.
been a performance for you, Carlos, that kind of defined you as a runner that you are now, or turned you into the runner that you are now, perhaps?
I think it was when I did Shelly 10K in July 2022. So that was 2 months after running a 41-minute 10K. So I was training the house down. Actually, I reached like 80Ks a week.
Mm.
And I think I peaked around 100Ks a week, and I'm doing a lot of hills in Mount Nasura. So I used to work in Armadale Hospital.
Mm.
And there's a hilly suburb there called Mount Nasura, and I was just running there almost every day. I was cooking on the hills, reaching my heart rate at 170, 180, even on an easy run. So somehow it made me run a 36-minute 10K in just 2 months.
Mount Nasura.
So that's probably the secret sauce, that I wasn't doing any workouts. I was just like having my heart rate high. But yeah, it worked for me, and yeah, I was using super shoes if things gets harder. So if I'm really really sore, I'm gonna wear my Vaporflies. I don't care. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure shoes have certainly changed running. I mean, it's made it easier to recover from some of these longer distances for sure, and
Yeah.
keeping you going. In the weeks after your race. I guess you're all now moving into your marathon builds, and obviously that brings with it not only physical and mental challenges, but also challenges to your external lives. I mean, what is it about the marathon that keeps you coming back, and how do you balance the training for a marathon with other parts of your life? Simon, do you want to start us off?
Um, I actually hate the marathon. I would say, yeah. Why am I on this training series? You know what? I think the thing that pulls me into the marathon is I guess it's a bit of an experiment, right? Because I feel like you can do a half marathon almost once every 2 weeks and recover in time and do it again. But I feel like you can't do that with the marathon. So it almost feels like a project that you can obsess over in 3-4 months, and
Yep.
hopefully it all comes together on the day. So I think that's the appeal of the marathon. And I think what pulls me still is the fact that every time I've raced a marathon, I've seen a level of progress. I've learned something about myself. So I think that in itself pulls me back. In terms of how do I balance it all? Good question. I think I'm still learning about that. Probably need to ask Linda how I balance it and how she feels about it. I think you know what? I think work this year has been pretty challenging, and I think marathon training and running in general has been a good counterbalance for all that. I think so. Particularly right now in the marathon build, everything is somewhat still in my control, and I can obsess over it. I can be quite methodical. I can tick boxes in terms of my training weeks. I can assess where I am and make changes accordingly. So I think, yeah, that's how I find balance in my life with the marathon training at the moment.
Yep.
I feel like ask the same question in episode 2 and I might give you a different answer.
Yeah, righto. Okay, and I guess the other question I had, and I'll get straight to you now, Simon, is why did you pick Gold Coast, and I guess what is the goal?
Why Gold Coast? I think it's that appeal of it being the fastest marathon and being able to make a holiday out of it. It falls right in between school holidays, so kind of seems like it ticks both boxes in terms of me being selfish with my running thing, as well as take the family up to the Gold Coast. So that's probably the reason why. And my goal is, 2 hours 59:59.
On the dot.
Yep.
On the dot.
And not a second
Awesome.
more.
Yeah. How about you, Loz? How do you're out for runs at 4:30 every day? I saw you last week, and you were zooming past it, presumably around 4:20s. On a Friday, just cruising. How do you go about balancing your training with other parts of your life?
Yeah, I mean, lucky I do like the early mornings. It's darker now, obviously, but it's still, yeah, I think the balance is just to, you can always make it work, I suppose, but get up early really is the only option if that's the choice you've got and you've got a goal. Just get my stuff up, I get my stuff ready to go in the morning, the night before, and I'm out the door usually and get the session done. It's a lot of work. On Saturdays I ask my mum to come round because my husband's actually doing Gold Coast Marathon as well. So he hasn't done any marathons before, but he's training consistently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's both of us, and the weekends are busy. We trying to tag team with the boys, but he likes the park run, so I usually get back in time for that, or my mum will pop over for half an hour. So it really takes a lot of people to get these goals, and a supportive husband who helps you out a bit like that. So yeah, I have the mornings before anyone wakes up, and he goes out in the afternoons, and the weekends are similar. So, but yeah.
Yeah, right. And are you coaching your husband?
Yeah, I did tell him not to pause his watch in between his sets the other day because he's stopping in between his 1K efforts, and you don't do that. It just looks good on Strava. So he's now not doing that anymore. But yeah, I'm giving him a few ideas. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I don't think he really listens to me much, to be honest. But I try and help out if I can. And we chat more about running, which is I love chatting about running and shoes. So it's kind of he used to do a lot of bike riding, and he was a very good mountain bike rider. But yeah, it's good to see him enjoying his running and probably understanding how you need a shoe rotation as well and more shoes.
And I guess you've done Gold Coast before, Loz. What brings you back to this course? And you've kind of touched around 240 a few times. Is there a goal you have in mind?
Yeah, I did Gold Coast 2023, and I yeah, I heard it was a fast course. It was relatively flat. Starts early in the morning. Good weather. Scott, my husband, has friends over there, so I kind of got him to come. And said it was a good place to go, and he agreed. He did the 10K, so we went over together. We left the kids with my mum and dad, and yeah, and just it was really well organised, and we just thought we should come back one day. So yeah, I looked at the what time of year and things, and last year I did a few towards the end of the year, and I think I needed a break from the marathon to try and get some speed back, and we'll try my best to get a bit faster over the shorter distances. So I love running the marathon. I mean, I love the training for the marathon. Yeah, I really enjoy that distance. So I was going to keep going. And at Gold Coast, I did get a good time. So that's also probably drawn me back. I think if you have a great result at a race, you're more inclined to go back thinking you're going to get another one. So yeah, I've got high hopes that I can do a fast time there again. So yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, obviously the carrot, dangling that carrot out the front, something like that is easy to follow after a performance like that. Rosie, how about you? Yeah, what is it about the marathon that keeps you coming back to this distance, having done it a number of times now? And how do you work out, the balance of your training?
Yeah, I think like most of us, I think we're just suckers for punishment, right? It's like, what's the most extreme run we can do that, and let's just put our heads into it. And I think I'm probably, and my husband would probably agree, I'm pretty stubborn, and if I've got a goal, it's all in on that goal. So for me, I think a marathon is as far as I'm ever going to run. if that's recorded now, so I can't go any further. So that to me is kind of like the pinnacle of running. I don't want to go any further. And I also enjoy those long runs, just getting out the door, listening to podcasts, listening to you guys, listening to other podcasts, and just thinking. So that kind of is my time when I'm not pushing the infamous yellow pram, that I can just get out and just, have me time, which seems, again, extreme. I could easily just go and read a book, but why not go for a run? So, yeah. And then I think also why Gold Coast, heavily influenced by the weather. Um, it's not the cold or grey of Melbourne or Sydney. I did a ITU World Champs there for triathlon not so long ago. So know it vaguely and was flat then, and I have good memories of it there. Got a few friends in Brisbane that I'm hoping to convince down to come down and support me, but just a bit of a PB hunting course, if I'm honest. Excited to go back to the same stomping ground.
Awesome. Fantastic. And I think the PB currently is 3:14. Is that right?
It is. It is. So I'm hoping that Simon, Karlos, Lauren, they might just like leave some biscuit crumbs or lollies for me just to get along the way, because I'm gonna be I'm level heading out the team, right? But 3:14 I'd be happy with, between full-time work, child, and husband who also does footy. It's a bit of a balancing act, a bit like Lauren's house. So if we can all get our exercise done, and also I think we're all of a similar point. We're probably also indirectly great role models for our kids, right? And if they see us setting goals and being active, then I think that's a win-win. So that's kind of how we balance it in our house.
Very, very well said. Karlos, how about you, mate? You were there last year. You ran a 2:31:59, if I'm not mistaken, in an attempt to qualify for Tokyo Marathon. But then I think they moved the qualifying time forward 4 minutes or something. So is that the new goal, 2:28?
All I can say is I don't really enjoy saying what can be. It's just easier to just do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. It's Jacko English.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, yeah, it could be. Yeah, sub 228 will be ideal to get, but it's not. Not easy to. It's easy to say it, but like you need to do the training to actually get it. So we're not yet there. We're gonna build up into it. We're gonna try and do the workouts that would maybe mimic the pace that I'm about to do, and we'll see. In June, we'll be able to tell, because that will be the the month where we will do some marathon specific. But it's that's the ultimate goal, to go 227. Or if things happen, if the weather is not good, being in the sub 230, I'll be happy with that as well.
Yeah, nice. And what is it about the marathon, Karlos, that I think you said you've done 10 now over the course of a pretty short time period.
Yeah.
What is it that you find so fascinating about that distance?
Yeah, so I think there's no perfect way to run it. It's always about the unknown of like, oh, when is it gonna be perfect? So the marathon, my goal to for the marathon, I think that what makes it interesting is just the dream to like run the perfect race, no cramping, just like feeling good all the way. I mean, it's not gonna feel good the last 10K, but just like feeling really strong in that part, the hardest part, which is the 10K. I think that's the one that I wanna like explore more and try to experience that feeling, because I feel like elite athletes make it look easy, and I wanna like get into that um get into that zone, like the feeling of running a fast marathon, having a negative split, Kelvin Kiptum style,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the one that keeps coming, makes me keep coming back, and it's just, it's a fascinating event. It's probably the most entertaining to watch for me. It's a long race, especially when you watching marathon majors, but you get to know all these athletes, what they've been through, how their training was. So now I know most of the marathon runners now just by watching them, and yeah, just obsessing about a sport. Yeah, it's I think it's very it's a beautiful distance to run in. So
Mm,
that's why coming back, I
yeah.
keep coming back.
Probably been spoilt for choice, I guess, the last few weeks with a few big marathons on. There's Boston, London, and Ballarat in recent weeks. Was there a pick of those races, mate, that you would think was your favourite?
Um, it would probably be maybe, I don't know, like Boston and London. They have like a really good event. Maybe London because my boy Alexi did his first marathon, and I really love that guy. Um he looks like me. He's like really thin, Asian. It's like yeah, makes me so proud of him. He's a triathlete by trade, but you saw his strength
Mm.
in did he do 211, 209? He did
211, yeah.
211.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the future is bright for him, and yeah, just like
Mm.
him doing the marathon, that's amazing. Because yeah, he's my idol ever since I started running. Because I think he's one of the athletes that I followed when I started running.
Mm.
Because I'm really into cycling as well. So let me find someone who cycles and run fast. And then Alexi came
Mm.
in the picture, and then yeah, followed him along the way up until now. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we won't go too deeply into training weeks just yet because yeah, obviously it's only the first week, but I will ask you guys a couple of questions, just personally about your approaches for the next few weeks, and we'll start with you, Carlos, seeing as we're on you at the moment. I think during your build for Perth 2023, I don't think you had a coach at the time, and your build involves some super high volume. We're talking like 200 plus K weeks. Leading up to that race, which saw you place sixth in the state marathon champs and run a 2:36, which is a phenomenal outcome. I think your previous marathon was something like a 2:54. Um, I don't know if that surprised you, but it certainly probably surprised a lot of other people. What has changed in your training since then, and since you started working with Matt Ramsden?
So the idea behind doing high volume is just to get as fitter as much as possible, and yeah, just by reading through a lot of like training plans, searching on the internet, watching a lot of YouTube videos, I came into an idea of just running a lot of hills because I feel like it gives you a lot of strength in your legs and you will be able to sustain a lot of workouts because like it needs like a strong legs and your heart rate gets up, and then now you can handle like a lot of threshold work. So when I do a workout, it feels like the threshold becomes easy just by
Mm,
doing a lot of hills because like your heart rate gets to those zones when you're doing those. So yeah now what has changed is we made the workouts a lot faster this time, so a lot of sharper stuff, a lot of like 200s, 400s, touching lower 300 to 250s, 240s, something those sharper stuff I never touch when I was on coach. So
mm,
I'm really thankful that I'm now like getting into that level of that I can run those spaces. Because before, like especially if you're marathon training, you don't really go to those spaces. Most of the time, you're mostly just doing a lot of aerobic work, a lot of threshold, and big long runs, and that's all you need. So now the idea is like building up a lot of speed, and then once we get to the marathon, we add up a bit of like volume. So maybe your 1 hour might become like a 90. So now you're adding a lot more mileage to actually handle the marathon distance. Because I feel like when I did Bustleton, Bunbury, a few weeks ago, run a 2:34. I wasn't conditioned to run the marathon, so I
mm,
felt stingy in my legs. But I have the speed, but the reason why I didn't run 2:32 or 2:30 is I'm not conditioned to run like a
mm,
really long 42K because my longest run is 25K. So yeah, I think around the following week maybe next week I'll probably ramp up the mileage and then go up until like 180 maybe in June. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's what's changed. Is more speed work and a lot of threshold work. And yeah, I think I still do a lot of hills, but not much as because I want to have a quality workout.
Yeah.
Um, More than just a volume. But yeah, the volume will ramp up for sure. Because like yeah, it's the marathon is getting close. It's 8 weeks now, 8 weeks from now. So
Something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
the mileage has to go up. So I'll have a chat with Rambo because yeah, I'm doing 140s to 150s. So maybe yeah, um, I'll let him know. Remind him it's 8 weeks. Maybe we can ramp up the mileage. But yeah, we'll see what he says. He knows what to do.
Yeah, of course. No, he's very experienced. Got a pretty good pool of athletes there. Simon, we'll talk about you briefly, mate. Carlos mentioned hills there, and I know that Tina has been prescribing you hills. Probably something that's been pretty foreign to you in
He's going
your
anaphylactic now, boss.
yeah into your life. Look, you having now trained with Tina, for the past, I guess, 8 months or so, maybe more. You've come a long way since your 306 at Bunbury last year. How beneficial has it been for you training with a team versus doing it solo? That you would have done previously.
Yeah, definitely the team itself has been amazing. I think it's been quite motivating to have a group of people that are sort of roughly my fitness level. So having a couple of guys that are faster than me and a couple of guys sort of just behind me has been quite motivating. And the group sessions on Saturdays have been a game changer for me. I think when I first started with Tina, and Tina's my first coach I've ever had, I was quite skeptical coming into it because, you see the plan and you're like, oh, that's what I would typically run anyway. But I think just having the accountability, having a group of people to train with, being able to bounce ideas off has been, amazing for me. And I guess, having someone to push you. So introducing something like hills, which I don't think I would ever have done because I would have copped out of doing any type of hill workout. So it's been a tough 4 weeks. A lot of hills on a Thursday, but I can definitely feel myself getting stronger. The tempos are getting longer, and I'm sort of reaping the rewards of that. So that's been going really well. And at the moment, even though we're quite early in the build, technically, I've done the most mileage I've ever done ever. And the body feels strong, the body feels good, the mind feels good. So, I think at this stage, we're going to experiment in terms of getting up to 130 consistently, maybe in a 4-week block and see how I go. And hopefully Tina ends the hills, but we'll see how we go. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, I can't see it happening, but good luck. Rosie, how about you? So, with the triathlons, you've done those in the past, and I'm sure that's those kinds of races, training for 3 different sports probably takes you to some pretty dark places at the back end of a race. Do you have any like mantras or processes that you use to get you through tough patches of races or your training week to week?
Um, Probably, but my biggest mantra is probably what I'm going to eat when I finish the session. So whether it's after a long run, it's like the whole 3 hours I'm spending. What coffee am I going to have? Am I going to make myself pancakes, or is it going to be porridge? So probably not the deep answer you're after, but that's probably where my head's at. I think I definitely do reflect on the choices. I don't like to call them sacrifices, but the choices I've made to do a long run rather than spend time with my family or go out or do something else. So I definitely use that as a kind of driver, but also I enjoy the confidence that I get from running with Front Runner, and I have a regular check-in with Ben Green, and he produces, well, I produce it, but he shows me a fancy graph on Training Peaks, and that's always a really nice value add for me, and it kind of just reinforces that, you know, the not so good runs or the runs where I've been like struggling along, it just makes it all seem a bit more worthwhile, and it makes me kind of validate that I'm going in the right direction. And those kinds of little nuggets, I think, all help get me to that finish line quicker. But I love racing, so I think that makes it easier. I'd far rather race every day than do a solo run with my headphones. So that also helps as well, come race day.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm usually thinking about food.
Okay.
Mostly ice cream during
Yeah,
my long
okay.
runs. So,
I'll add that to the list of food types to think about for my next long run then.
yeah, exactly. Loz, we'll finish up with you. You've probably got the most experience among this group, in terms of the marathon. How do you, being such a consistent performer, like how do you go about lining up all of those little 1%ers ahead of a race? And what's your secret to the consistency?
Oh, okay. Yeah, for the marathon, you do have to get everything right. That's the challenging part that I suppose we love as well. So yeah, I suppose over the years, it's just staying healthy as well. That's a hard one, and that's a bit of luck, I think. But heading into the gym, I've tried to do a couple of gym sessions a week, and I really feel that's helped me out. And usually I used to go to the gym and just, I don't know, fluff about. But now I know what to do. I'll do leg exercises and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a bit more focused on trying to squeeze that in as well. And yeah, just making sure that you do have your program. Obviously, that's helped heaps. Like I know what to do, but I think with Tina, just having her there with her program, flexibility in that. I'd love to get to the hills a bit more too, but I don't like the hills either. But I'm probably just focusing on what I can do. And when you focus on what you can do, you can still get a lot done. So, but yeah, you do have to get everything lined up for the marathon. And if everything goes really well, then yeah, that's a great feeling. So hopefully, yeah, with nutrition and shoes and try all that out and just, I think you've got to lock into that marathon pace. I really think that over my past marathons, I can tell by about 25K, I feel like that's when I actually have a bit of a mental slip sometimes. And I've noticed that's where my pace might drop. And so I'm trying to work on a bit more of the mind, I suppose. And yeah, just really in the training, tried to do a bit more research on that, and I feel like if I can get every single element right, then yeah, it's gonna make a difference. So yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, the importance of gym is kind of, everybody talks about it, but I think it's not many people actually get it done. So it is an important component of.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a long session. I think you just have to try and focus on a few things, and they can help out a lot. So yeah.
Definitely, and they probably make up for some of the lack of hills that Simon.
Yeah,
Maybe if
yeah,
you're
it's not many in Vic
looking for
Park,
some
and you
gym
just go
sessions on
down,
the top, mate, you might want to.
just go down the river and run a lap of the river. So that's my favourite place. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Well, no, thank you all for giving us a bit of insight into your kind of training approaches and just your histories. I mean, it's really, really insightful. Some really deep answers there too, I think, which is great. I mean, it's some. I like to make jokes all the time, but I think it's actually really important to touch on some of the more serious things in life. And I think Rosie, you mentioned thinking about your kids or the time you spend away from your kids in order to get those runs done. I think those are kind of really important reflections to have as a parent. And thank you for sharing. Look, we'll wrap up, I think, guys, because I know that you've got to get out for your runs in the morning, your Thursday thresholds or whatever you've got going on. But look, thanks for joining us on episode 1 of the Road to Paradise Gold Coast Marathon Training Series. Certainly a big commitment to share your time with us, but also give the listeners some insight into your training. I'm sure they're going to be loving to hearing all the the fascinating stuff that's going to be occurring over the next couple of episodes ahead of the race, and then obviously the outcome of that in a few months' time. I believe you're all heading out to the running centre next week to go through the BioFit process with Raf and Sam there, during which they'll kit you up with a pair of shoes to support your training. And of course, Vlad has a package in the mail for each of you, featuring some Bix and Reach products to support nutrition, hydration, and recovery needs over the next few weeks. For the listeners, remember to use code WARP for 20% off your next purchase of Bix and Reach products. I might have to add a code in for the TRC guys after this, but I believe they'll have a 15% discount on their products as well on their online store for listeners throughout the course of this training series. TRC, the Running Centre, Bix and Reach obviously have gone to great lengths to support us through this series, and we ask that our listeners head over to support local WA businesses. Let's leave it there for now. For the listeners, you can reach out to us on Instagram at WA Running Pod. Our email is warunningpodcast@gmail.com, and our Strava club is Warp. So Karlos, Lauren, Simon, and Rosie, see you all next time on the road to paradise.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good training, everyone.
Yep, you too.
The Road to Paradise Gold Coast training series is brought to you by the Running Centre. Whether it's the latest shoes, nutrition gear, or their personalised biofit process to help pick the right shoe for you, the experts at TRC are the ones to trust to help you achieve your running goals. Use code WARP15 for 15% off your purchase via the TRC online store, excluding electronics and nutrition. The Running Centre. Let's move together.